The Movie Preview Critic. Informing and entertaining your movie world.
The relationship between Mr. Han and Dre does get emotional, but the whole father and son dynamic doesn't really connect as much as it did in the original Karate Kid. And then there's a problem that both films suffer from, is that you have the bully coming on strong early on, then there's the, okay, promise to leave him alone while we train. And that's what happens, and as a result, there's really no dramatic conflict anymore, and you slowly start to see them changing in that respect, but there's really no conflict to bring it on. It would be nice if the bully would be active a little bit throughout, maybe in just small ways he's kind of bothering Dre here or in the original film. If there was a little more conflict from the midpoint to the end of the film, the final fight would mean a little bit more. Now, the first half of the film, the bully was such an a-hole that the audience maintained kind of their unified hatred for him, that when at the end Dre finally defeats him, we get a cheer and we feel, okay, he's a little vindicated. And the bully turns out to be a nice kid. He gives him the trophy, and the rival kung fu school all bows to Mr. Han because he is a true kung fu master, not the jerk teacher that they've been following. There could have been some moments here where the bully was developed. Why is he an a-hole? What's his problem? He's got some family issues. He's insecure. All those kind of issues. It would have been nice to see a couple more scenes dealing with that. But overall, as much as I really wanted to hate this film and just totally lop it in that whole Nightmare on Elm Street, Hitcher, Friday the 13th, Michael Bay school of remaking, this one is a decent enough example of a remake that can take an original idea and maintain some humanity to it. Focus on the characters, and it can be a rewarding experience for the audience because there are a lot of people cheering and laughing throughout, and this seemed to be affecting them. And there's something that Joseph Campbell, the mythologist who really influenced the Star Wars trilogy and wrote The Hero with a Thousand Faces that I'm always referencing, he did mention that the purpose of myths or stories kind of in the human psyche is that they're just archetypical, these journeys that happen of growth, of change, of going into your inner self. There's a great line in this version of The Karate Kid where Mr. Han says, "Why do you want to go back out there even though you've been injured?" And Dre says a wiser than his years line of, "Because I'm still scared." Really great line. And that's what Campbell was all about, the journey into the self and overcoming the personal dragons that you have to defeat. Self-courage and willing to face the fear being the armor that you would wear in the battle with the self. So really interesting and poignant journey going on here. But Campbell also mentioned that there's nothing wrong with reinterpretation. That these archetypes, these myths are sort of designed to be retold from time to time because they need to apply to a new generation. But the one caveat to that, the one little asterisk, would be it has to be told with heart, and it has to be a story that is needed for the time. Do we really need a remake of Nightmare on Elm Street? Do we need a remake of Friday the 13th? Not really. The only reason those bastard children's or deformed clones exist is because they just want to be reprofited. There's really no journey going on within those movies. They're much more just pure entertainment, thrill ride of the horror variety where you just want to go and get scared. And at least in the 80s it was something new and different, but these remakes are just rehashing everything. There's really nothing new. Here in The Karate Kid, the journey of someone learning to kind of have some inner strength and facing their fears is something that can be applicable to today, especially now with the changing dynamic of the world. It's interesting that he moves to China, and being the fish out of water, what's the American mentality and how does it clash with the Chinese mentality? That really wasn't explored. A film that could be similar to this is Tom Cruise in The Last Samurai. Very similar kind of stuff, but that film did it a little more powerfully. And again, that was basically Dances with Wolves. But both of those movies were able to get into the ideas of what is East versus West and what are the two mentalities and just beliefs about our place in the world and how does that clash and what can we learn from each other, all that kind of good stuff. And I really don't buy any kind of argument that, oh, this is Karate Kid and this is just a kid's movie and it's 11-year-old Jaden Smith, so we shouldn't really expect much. No, if you're going to tell a story, there's humans making it, there's humans watching it, we're all in the world, we know what's going on, we sense it. Don't be lazy. Don't take the easy way out. Let's put some spirit in there. Delve into your soul, into your heart, and make something real. Make something that's going to affect us because we want to be affected. That's why we listen to stories, read books, listen to music, read poetry, and watch movies. So don't be lazy. So unfortunately, it's going to make a lot of money. The theaters were packed, and it has the little kid Pixar demographic. You've got parents have to bring the children, and it's going to make kids want to take karate class, and they're going to see the movie again, and it's going to make probably 50 to 60 million opening weekend. I mean, it's really set up to be a huge box office success. I can respect that it tried to do the right thing, and it did put some heart into the film, but unfortunately its success is going to be taken as more remakes need to be made because the audience is responding to familiar titles, and we don't want anything strange and new and different. Just give us something we're familiar with, and we'll accept it, and we'll pay you $10 to $11 to see it again. So unfortunately, that's going to be the effect of a movie that did try to do the right thing, and I have some respect for it. Now, I'm surprised to be saying that, as much as I, again, really wanted to dislike this and just totally thrash it. It's not a great movie. When comparing it to the original, I definitely favor the original because the Miyagi-Danielson relationship destroys this one easily. And even though there are some better choreographed and filmed fights in this one, the whole final sequence with the karate tournament is really well done. The original still dominates this. This is a good film on its own, but it is a nice film to show your kids. It's got a lot of heart to it, and it at least kind of explores this idea of spirituality, of mysticism, of strength, of being kind of, and just confident in yourself, which is something the original, now I'd really want to mention this really quickly, is that the original, again, that the spirit of its creation was really feeding off of the whole Bruce Lee thing, where Bruce Lee was really the main force in bringing the East to the West in terms of pop culture, with Enter the Dragon, of course, being his most famous contribution to that. He was really responsible for America's newfound obsession with the martial arts, and the Karate Kid was kind of an ingenious way to bring that in. It was, okay, here's an American kid with the Japanese teacher, and when you combine that to, now we can kind of, through the characters, explore the values of each culture. Really well done here. That opportunity's missed where Han and Dre don't necessarily reflect that. We kind of just assume, oh, okay, we've seen the original, and the new currents of society of our world aren't really brought to the top, and they should have. Again, it's not because it would make the film too convoluted or bog it down, slow it down, put too many things in there. It's just laziness. Make the characters fully realized people, and that stuff will come out naturally. Three-dimensional characters always dominate. The deeper the character, the deeper our connection with them. So plot is so secondary. It's really the characters that we're there for. And the characters here are decent. They're nothing too memorable. So overall, I'm going to say rental. If you like Jackie Chan, you should check this out. If you like Jaden Smith, who does have a lot of Will Smith mannerisms here, there's some ways that he delivers his lines that really remind you of the Fresh Prince. So if you're a fan of Will and family, then definitely check this out. Unfortunately, again, I'm going to say this is a sign of the movie apocalypse because the effect it's going to have is more remakes. So consider yourselves advised. Until next time, choose your movies wisely because StoryCorp gives us more of what we pay for. And until next time,
long live good movies!